Welcome back, pilots, to Squadrons Update. We're only a day away before the game releases on October 2nd in most parts of the world, and the excitement and hype is only growing and getting stronger by the hour. With Squadrons releasing very soon, we're gonna be going over how you can already start prepping your very own starfighter loadout right now. As we'll talk about Xbox players getting a scare regarding sneaky microtransactions in Squadrons, and even the confirmation of micro-drift meta and PvP multiplayer. As always, we'll be covering all of this and more in today's video. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Squadrons is almost here, and while most Starfighter veterans are already getting their HOTAS setups ready to go to jump into familiar territory, it also has to be said that there will be players who are brand new to space simulators in general trying their hand in that genre for the very first time. So it's understandable that for these Starfighter newbies, Squadrons may be a bit overwhelming. At least at first glance of all the different components, modules, blinking lights, you name it. Well, fortunately to help with that, Motive have recently come out and actually prepared different tutorials to getting new players ready for what they'll encounter in the game, all of which are available right now on the official Squadrons website, www.ea.com/game/Star Wars/Squadrons. I'll leave a link to it right in the video description if you're interested, but yeah, there's surprisingly a lot of informative stuff here for beginners. All from your basic combat tips, customization, gameplay, and even loadouts. While I'm sure most of this will most likely be answered already through the game's tutorial, if however you don't have the game yet or are still unsure about how some of the aspects or gameplay or whatever works, then in that case I highly recommend checking this out. And speaking about starting out for the first time, Squadron's creative director Ian Fraser went to Twitter to give his 2 cents for what you should do when booting up the game for the first time, where he strongly recommended that people do the single-player campaign first before jumping into the multiplayer. According to him, you certainly don't have to, but it's a great story in its own right. Plus, it'll teach you a lot of valuable skills and give you time with each ship along the way. Furthermore, he mentioned that for anyone wanting just to experience the story without any worries in combat or anything like that, then they should set the difficulty to story mode, as you'll get all of the ace pilot thrills, but it's so much more forgiving than the other difficulties. And yeah, I think I covered this in the last video, but story mode is pretty much going to be the name for easy mode. But yeah, that's where you're gonna want to start off if you're pretty much new to these type of games. Moving on, but Ian Fraser was also on the Star Wars show recently where he confirmed that yes, microdrifting will indeed be possible, and by what it seems like too, will also be part of the meta and PvP multiplayer. So yeah, a lot of the good players are going to be using this little maneuver, but it's not easy and it's gonna take a little practice before you perfect it. On the other hand, the good thing about this though is that the ability to drift is not infinite, because it is dependent on having boost available and not everyone is going to have that at all times. Anyway, here's the clip of Ian mentioning microdrifting on the Star Wars show and how it's exactly going to work and show up in the game.
How we do that. One of the things I love that some of our better players start to get into, we kind of internally call microdrift. So you've got your booster fully charged, you go fast, you cut it, you make a slight course correction while drifting, boost, little tiny distance, do it again, so you're zigzagging like a maniac. Generally only the really good pilots who are on like an interceptor that have more of a kind of a tank for a boost can pull that off, but it's awesome when they do. You know,
I saw somebody pull that off. I saw it in the mining colony because you have all these beams that you're trying to get through, and I was chasing somebody down and man, they were just darting through everything. It is wonderful to see, and one of the things that I love about how much of this game is multiplayer-based, squadron-based, is it's fun to squad up with your friends, but it's really wonderful to see other players that you're unfamiliar with and see things that they're pulling off.
Yeah.
It's such a great way to learn through observing and learn through playing. I want to talk
Something also real cool that just became available recently is Squadrons Toolkit Loadout Builder, which is a website made by fans for fans. On Squadrons Toolkit, players can pick any of the 8 different starships available in the game, and then proceed to customize them in any way they want. Every single component officially in Squadrons is listed on this website, so before you get your hands on the game, you can already start prepping your dream starfighter loadout here, and heck, you can still use this website even if you have the game too. Because obviously you won't have all the components unlocked on day 1, so this nonetheless is a pretty sweet way of preparing your ideal loadout for each ship, and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and what components you'll need to unlock to achieve just that, all for free of course. Again, I highly recommend trying this out before jumping into the game. Moving on, but Steam has recently started gifting new pre-order bonuses to people who bought Squadrons on Steam. Now, before you get excited or disappointed because you didn't get the game on Steam, keep in mind that these are rather minor bonuses, which are basically frames for your avatar. One for the Empire and another for the New Republic. This is something that wasn't previously advertised before, and while it is a small bonus, at the end of the day it's still something neat to get as a surprise gift. So all in all, the Epic Game Store got a Fortnite X-Wing glider and Steam got Star Wars Avatar frames. And lastly, by now most people have at the very least preloaded the game on their consoles or PC. But it was the Xbox players who spotted something a little sketchy, with the Xbox Store saying that Squadrons will apparently have in-app purchases. Something that definitely upset most people due to EA and Motive before making a big deal and claim that Squadrons would not have any microtransactions. So if that's the case, then why does Xbox say otherwise? And as you can imagine, people got pretty concerned about this. EA Star Wars Community Manager Andrew Johnson was quick to clarify on the issue though, stating that this was really all just a big misunderstanding. According to Andrew, EA have not backtracked on their stance with microtransactions with Star Wars Squadrons. Rather, the Xbox Store just lists pre-order bonuses this way. So yeah, a little bit of a scare there at first for some Xbox players, but fortunately this isn't something that they'll actually have to worry about. As to confirm once again, Squadrons will be free of any microtransactions. And for anyone still having a hard time believing this, then hey, they'll soon have the chance to see with their own eyes once the game goes live this Friday. But until the next time, this will do it for your Squadrons update. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but also keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.